Hello and welcome to Science Fiction Fanatic, the podcast that helps you find new, emerging, and undiscovered science fiction podcast content. I'm Greg, the host and curator of Science Fiction Fanatic. If you are a science fiction fanatic, click that subscribe button now. This is a podcast feature episode. If you like the creator, check out the episode notes for links to subscribe. Today's episode is from Sun and Shadows. Jeff and Kev talk about canceled genre TV series in this stellar podcast. And we all know in sci-fi, there are tons of canceled TV series. I think you're all going to really love this podcast. All right, let's get this show started.
Begin.
Heidi fucking ho, boys. Miss me? Yeah, it's me, Kelly Maxwell, aka Dana DiLorenzo, and you're fucking listening to whatever fucking podcast this is. What is it? Ash, you don't fucking know. Shut up. You're listening to the Sun. Oh, God. Oh my, Pablo. Okay, you're listening to the fucking Suns and Shadows podcast on this network. So fucking subscribe or die. Fist bump.
And welcome back once again to Suns and Shadows Cast. We're back for another round of the lost, forgotten, and canceled TV series from yesteryear. We're celebrating our anniversary this month, and that, of course, means more Bruce Campbell. I am your host, Jeff Bly.
And I am your red right hand, Big Kev Smith.
I'm the Dread Pirate, William McCut.
All right, and we've also called in the cavalry on this one. We have our very own Brisco and Dixie joining us. That's right. We have Steve and Izzy from the Everything I Learned from Movies podcast has joined us. Thank you for joining us, and please let us know about your podcast and what you do over there.
Hey, everybody.
Well, thank you. And thank you for getting the name of our podcast correct.
That's right, Dizzy. No. Gotta talk like I have a massive chin.
Square up that jaw.
That's right. Well, over here on this there podcast, no. Yeah, everything I learned from movies, talk about bad to questionable movies. And
that we genuinely love.
Yeah, I mean, usually we end up loving them. But basically just find out, like, there's always something good and even bad movies. And
we find those little nuggets of perfection within the clusterfuck.
Yeah, we've also interviewed, almost 50 different directors, actors, all kinds of everything from Thomas Jane to Dana Gould. We're circling around the patron saint of our podcast, Nicolas Cage. So much so we've done like obviously Thomas Jane is Eskimo brother, but his real life brother, Christopher Coppola, a couple of directors and other people that worked with us.
His stand-in
for like 15 years. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Yeah. One of these days he's going to return our calls.
Oh, and we also happen to be BJCP certified beer judges. So we also review good beers in the midst of our podcast.
We are sending some notices to you.
Oh, well, we have from Rogue Brewing Dead Guy Ale. Yeah.
Are you guys from Oregon?
Oh, no, we're in Utah. We got this through a state-ran liquor store because that's the only way to get beer over 5%.
But we have been to the mothership in Newport, and it is magical.
Absolutely.
I was gonna say I live like an hour away from their brewery.
Yeah,
so good.
Blessed life.
And if our guests out there hear crunching in the background, my apologies. We also have our pod dog, Mr. Sushi, and I gave him a chewy. He's eating a beef trachea right now.
Nice.
Got to keep the dogs entertained.
Right.
And now the people are entertained.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and we'll get right in. Now, have you both experienced this show when it first aired, or what are some of your earlier memories, and what do you think of the show?
I remember watching it. Yeah, I guess I was 12 or 13 or something when it was out. I remember loving it. Just, I don't know, growing up, like my dad was a cop and stuff growing up, but it seemed like all the reruns and stuff just whenever I was watching TV were old shows like, Brett Maverick and Rockford Files and, Addams Family and stuff like that. And this is obviously all those kind of rolled together. And so it worked out pretty good for me.
Down to even having Gomez Addams.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I had caught like 1 or 2 episodes of this as a kid. My dad was sort of like a raccoon and just likes to steal things out of dumpsters. So we regularly had hacked cable, which meant even our local channels were never on the same channel, depending on what wavelength we were tuned into. So I had no idea what channel anything was on. But I remember watching a couple episodes, loving it, and then never being able to find it again. And nobody I knew had ever even heard of it.
Oh.
I had made this up. This was a fever dream. And then I met Steve.
I was like, Brisco County, hell yeah, I've got the first season on DVD. And there was like, oh wait, there was only 1 season.
A very long season at 27 episodes, but still one season nonetheless.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh yeah, I know I've got like 5 or 6 discs or something, so it's got to be 2 seasons, right?
Yeah, I pulled out my set. I'm like, 8 discs. I'm like, what the hell is on all of these?
All the behind the scenes interviews.
Oh yeah, that's like all of like disc 8. Now, Kevin, let's go with you. What are your memories of this one?
Oh, dude, I religiously watched this show. It was like one of my favorite things coming on after The Simpsons and not Saturday Night Live and Living Color. It was on for me in that same time period or same block.
In Living Color.
Yeah. So I mean, I recognized that it was Ash, and so it's like I stuck with it. I saw the pilot and then would watch it every Sunday night after that. It was Sunday or Thursday.
For you, it was Thursday or Sunday? Interesting.
I think so.
Was it paired up with like X-Files for you, or was it no? Like you said, it was like around Simpsons and In Living Color.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting. Fox syndication.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because then I want to say Married with Children came on after that too.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think.
It's a little different. And Will, how about you? What are your memories of this one?
Never saw it. I mean, wasn't really allowed to watch Fox. As ridiculous
Yeah,
as
Fox edits questionable content, as we heard like half of them from Kevin already. Simpsons, Married with Children,
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, they look so cliche now with like Family Guy. And
Oh my God, right? They've gone back in time almost with some of the.
how they have all those silly as a Masked Singer and you'll never guess who cooked this cake and shit like that.
Exactly. Yeah, my memory of this, I religiously watched this. I was in high school. I don't remember about which grade. I could probably figure it out if I did the math, but I've done enough math today to not want to do that right now. But I know it was paired up with X-Files for me because that was my Friday nights. I watched both of them. I like this way more than I liked X-Files, and I'm a big fan of X-Files early seasons. So this was like Friday night was glorious for me. And I watched this to the very and unfortunately bitter end until it was canceled, unfortunately, and it broke my goddamn heart. It's one of the very first shows I ever watched and got canceled. And I was like, what the fuck just happened here? Where's my show? And the way it ended, it kind of felt, on hindsight, it had a good ending. But at the time, it broke my heart. But my funny story about my memory of this show is when I watched Evil Dead 2 in college. And that was my first introduction was Army of Darkness. But then it wasn't until Evil Dead 2 that I'm watching. I'm like, oh, that's that dude from Brisco. And like, I never knew that Army of Darkness was a sequel to the other movies. So when I watched Evil Dead 2 in college, I'm like, this is that dude from Brisco. What's he doing in this? And that's when it sent me down the rabbit hole of like Bruce Campbell filmography in general. And that's my fun little story and memory from Brisco.
I have a very similar story because I had seen Army of Darkness before, but yeah, Brisco was like my real introduction to Bruce Campbell as a kid.
Yeah.
And then the next thing I saw him in was probably my favorite movie of all time, 1995's Congo. And when Bruce Campbell, Brisco County himself, shows up in the first couple of minutes, I'm like, fuck yeah, this movie's going to be great. We got a great hero. And oh shit, he's dead.
2 minutes later.
Yeah.
And then
they replace it
with Congo.
Yeah, then they replace it with Dylan Walsh. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Bring Bruce back.
It should have been flipped around, in my opinion.
Oh,
Shitty Peter, we want Bruce.
God, I remember watching Congo too and being like, oh, Bruce is in this. And then, I'm like, Okay, that took out my complete interest in this movie in like
I-
no time.
I didn't know he was going to pull a Dark Man and just show up for 5 seconds.
He's actually done
Or-
that in a couple movies like Dark Man, Congo,
Spider-Man's.
The Intruder, which is a horror slasher movie. He shows up literally the last 5 seconds and has like the last scene with one line. And it's like, what the hell just happened here?
Escape from LA.
Now, see, like, I'm
Escape
super
from-
jealous because when I was growing up, what came on before X-Files was Diagnosis Murder
Oh, with Andy Griffith?
Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah,
Dick Van Dyke. That's right.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
shit. That's right.
I
I
saw
told you,
that
and
show
then
on
like what came on
NBC.
before that was Matlock.
Ugh.
So it was like
Andy
old
Griffith.
people,
Yep.
old people doctor lawyer shows in the X Files, which
then
I'm
had
not gonna lie,
Adam's Family.
I enjoy both of those, all three of them actually.
I can't say shit. I used to love Perry Mason, so it's all
Oh
good.
yeah, me too. Like
Right?
I watched Diagnosis Murder and Matlock and all of that too. So I mean,
Columbo.
I've always been a TV guy, film guy. I mean, look behind me. That's only just a fraction of my collection. But like, you can't go wrong with any of those shows. Yeah, they had their formulas, but if there was a show that didn't have a formula, I want to say it was Briscoe, because this is the first time outside of the Wild Wild West that a Western TV show ever interested me until like Deadwood came out like 30 years later.
Completely different kind of Western, too.
because it's almost more of a sci-fi steampunk
yeah.
Western.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very, very, very steampunk with the orb kind of being
Yeah.
the central
Oh, yeah.
MacGuffin.
Oh, I'm sorry. It opens up with like rockets,
Yeah,
Yeah.
rockets, zeppelins, all sorts of fun stuff.
fingerprints,
yeah.
It's a
discovering
lead-
viruses.
Yeah.
People washing their hands. Come on, Steve. They're way ahead of their time.
Human trafficking, all sorts of neat shit.
Yeah.
Baby kidnappings, Irish mobs and Italian mafia. Like, hey, we were doing like freaking, what is it, Boardwalk Empire, like 40 years early in the timeline.
And my personal favorite, Crazy Ex-Girlfriends. Hell
Oh,
yeah.
Mm.
Well, some really strong female characters throughout the whole series, in fact.
That was the
Not just
hallmark of the
crazy.
show.
Yeah. Well, and you kind of notice that Briscoe has a type because
What?
like just rewatching we just rewatched the first 10 episodes like in the last 3 days preparing for this.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, Dixie, cute blonde. All right.
Wavy blonde.
The professor's daughter in the first episode.
Wavy
All right.
blonde.
Wavy blonde. All right.
Yeah.
Goes back to his hometown where he meets his high school girlfriend and Annie. And it's like, okay, wavy blonde. I get it. I get it.
But there was brunettes and redheads too, but he definitely had a thing for the blondes.
Yeah.
Also, this show doesn't have a lot of strong female characters.
No, I thought I remembered the professor's daughter having more of a prominent role, but she did not at all.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really like the first episode. I think she comes in like a couple towards the end, but I was reading like IMDb facts where it's like, oh yeah, she was supposed to be a main thing, but then everybody loved Dixie so much that they just
Yeah.
like, yeah, forget her.
She was supposed to be the main love interest, and the chemistry between Dixie and Briscoe was just way too strong and intense, and they just went with it.
Yeah, it's like I know I said earlier comparing it to Maverick. Yeah, it's basically like Mel Gibson and Jodie Foster in that movie, and of course,
Oh, good movie.
James Garner and everybody in any series he's ever been in. Just great energy.
That was a dope flick too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love that one. It's
I feel like they made it because this got canceled, and then they're like, well, we got all the sets. What if we get I
This
don't
is
know,
true.
Braveheart in here, and he can
Yeah.
be the new Briscoe.
yeah, he wasn't too bad, but my problem with that movie is they seem to like dawdle a little too much here and there. Like the pacing was out of whack on that. Like even some of like the filler episodes in Briscoe were a bit tedious at times, but none of them felt too bad until you got to like the last 6 episodes. And then there was 2 of them in there that felt, we really didn't need this. We could have gone from 27 episodes down to 24 if it was a little more focused, because the last like basically 7 episodes are like an epilogue to the actual main story that we grew accustomed to. So when we don't have Bly around anymore or any of his gang anymore, it feels like we're missing something. It kind of did like the 8 team formula change of, oh, we're these bandits, we're these criminals, we're these mercenaries. Oh, now we work for the government the last 2 seasons, so we got to do what they tell us to.
Yeah, it seemed like they'd completed their story and they're like, well, shit, we still have all this money left over.
Yeah.
Or if they knew that they were going to get sold to USA or TNT, whatever it was, and they're just like, film this extra shit. Because they actually had a pretty decent and concise story once Bly goes.
Yep.
Or with Bly's ending. And unfortunately, I never got to see that as a kid. So like today was fucking awesome for me. But their fillers were great. I was just as happy with the filler episode as I was a plot-driven episode up until about episodes 17 and 18 or 18 and 19. Once the orb absorbs Bly, I like lost complete interest in all the filler shit, even though all the fillers actually like were to set up the last 7 episodes.
All right.
It's they.
Oh, you're talking about like the Hard Rock episode in the Brooklyn Dodgers, eh?
Yeah, it's like the last 7 episodes is just basically them writing what would later become Marvel's Secret Wars. Like, they're an unsanctioned, like, Team X, like fucking Suicide Squad that gets sent to go do this horrible shit.
Yeah, and if you get murdered for treason, hey, sorry, tough luck.
My bad.
Right.
I'm the president, but my hands are tied.
I like the actor doing that, but what is it? Richard Hurd, I think was his name. The president at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was excellent. I actually got a kick out of him trying to sample all the guns, which is a total reference. We're going to do a callback to our Tremors episode with Burt Gummer and even Steve, because, we know Steve, we know you're listening, buddy, that, you got to have fun with the guns. And he just kept going, no bigger, no bigger, no bigger. And then he pops off the largest cannon and it just shatters Socrates' poor hearing. And he's like, oh my God, what do I get into working for this guy?
Yeah, I got to say, I love that artillery piece that they used to bust open the secret town with the knockout gas.
That's a total like rip off from Bond, but
the giant rail gun or something.
Yeah, where they were shooting the knockout gas into the town to steal the orb.
Oh yes,
there were a lot of those kind of things where there were like shout outs and winks, like kind of not breaking the fourth wall, but very self-aware.
Yes, there were a lot of puns.
You guys have any favorites?
Well, there's the Led Zeppelin. I mean, that could be it could be your Stairway to Heaven.
That's true.
That was pretty awesome. I wrote down a few of them. Annie, go get your gun.
I was like, just thinking that one.
Or Annie, get your gun.
Oh, and thanks for the donut, Duncan.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That same episode.
I hit the sheriff, but I didn't hit the deputy.
Yeah, like they had a bunch of great puns. They were really good.
Now, there was an Ash versus Evil Dead callback. They use it in the show where somebody just tells Brisco, just don't think about it when confronted with a fight. And I kind of just, because we're very big Ash versus Evil Dead and Evil Dead fans over here,
yeah.
that just struck me as like, I wonder if that's a callback to his Brisco time, just for a little zing in there. And you would catch a little Evil Dead reference here or there, but it was so subtle that unless you were really paying attention, like I tried to pay attention to most of the episodes. I had to watch them when I was doing other stuff, but I've loved all the little callbacks and all the little Easter eggs they had. I mean, the one glaring one I didn't really dig was probably Viva, Sheriff Viva, the Elvis knockoff.
Oh, yeah.
But,
that was a bit stupid.
Yeah.
He grew on me though. I wasn't like thrilled at first, but he grew on me.
He was cool fucking with Pete. That was kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh God,
Pete.
Pete, love Pete.
Oh.
You touched Pete's piece. Oh my God, give me my piece.
My God, he touched Pete's piece. Nobody touches Pete's piece.
You're touching my piece.
I love where it's like, didn't you die last episode? Obviously, that's completely irrelevant.
Ninja stars don't have the effect they used to on me.
Yeah.
Almost like Pete repeats.
Oh.
Guys, when are we going to talk about Shonuff?
Am I the meanest? Sure enough. Am I the prettiest? Sure enough. Am I the baddest mofo low down around this time? Sure enough. Well, who am I? Sure enough. Who am I? Sure enough. I can't hear you.
Sure enough.
The baddest cat in the land. Sure enough.
Lord
God
Bowler.
damn, he was so fucking awesome in this show. Right from word go, like, you know, oftentimes there's shows you see like the cast is having a little trouble getting chemistry from the word go, and it maybe takes them a couple episodes. This one, he fit right in from the word go to the very end. Great relationship with Brisco, but dude, show enough.
Yeah.
Loved seeing him, and with his hair kind of tied back instead of all thrown out.
Yeah, I didn't realize until watching it this last time that it was Show Enough that was playing Lord Bowler. I guess I just hadn't seen it in a couple of years, or seen Last Dragon in, you know, 25, 30 years. But then I was like looking it up, like, first thing known for Last Dragon, Show Enough. Holy shit, it is!
Who's the baddest cat in the land? Show enough.
I've never even seen it, and when Jeff said that, I was like, "Wait, really? It's Show Enough? Cool."
Yeah, he had no idea, and he's like, "What?" And I did a little GIF in our chat between us all and threw it up, and he sent me like this reaction of what?
He probably never seen Last Dragon, but he saw the Busta Rhymes music video, so
yeah.
No, I knew it by reputation. I knew his character's name by reputation.
Nice.
So I was like, that's fucking cool. But yeah, I mean, like if you look up like angry black man in the dictionary, it's Lord Boulder. It is Lord Boulder. Like he for the nice as he is, he's angry about everything. And you're just like, damn, Boulder, simmer.
Bowler.
The only thing that makes him happy is when he's getting paid.
It's Bowler, like the hat.
Oh, regardless.
But he's got a mortgage to make, so he needs to get paid for those sweet digs on his butler.
Those are some nice digs.
And watch out for the crystal and his pistachios, though.
Oh, the poor crystal. I felt for the guy. I really did. Having like a great
and
collection.
His girlfriend wrecked shop.
Oh my God, that girlfriend.
Hey, Kevin said crazy ex-girlfriends.
That one would fit the bill.
There's a few of them in here.
Well, and he even tried to go to the government and be like, I'm getting stalked by an ex-girlfriend. I'm like, boy, some things just always age the same. You can't really say like they don't age well, because a lot of like the themes and some of the characters and even caricatures, like not all of them like age poorly. Some of them do, unfortunately. Now, what did you guys think of like the music during this show? I mean, yeah, it's the main theme, of course, which ended up being used in the Olympics. But
exactly.
You know, did that grab any of you, or was it just a good time with the show?
I thought it was exciting.
Yeah,
It's
a dang good theme. It gets gets the action going. Like usually comes in full orchestra coming in, like when he's like riding a horse or chasing something. But then I don't know, when it's like a quieter scene, like, you know, it has the slowed down version and all that. You can still kind of tell, but
yeah,
overall, I think the score is pretty good, especially for a TV show.
Yeah, for the funding that I'm sure that they didn't have.
Yeah,
until they got the licensing rights for the theme song for the Olympics, and then somebody made some bank on that.
Yeah, I think it was it Randy Edelman or whatever did the.
I think so.
I'm trying to remember the opening credits now. Yeah.
One name I noticed was Felix Alcala, who's done a lot of different TV shows, including Brimstone, which we were talking about before our episode here.
Yeah, a couple of like we've been watching, we've been binging Supernatural because we lack self-respect. But like Daniel Arias, like with Captain Power and Soldiers of the Future, there was a couple directors where like their names would pop in, like, oh yeah, he did like 4 episodes of that, or oh yeah, it pops up on Supernatural all the time. And but what one director I didn't see on here was Sam Raimi, and I thought that was weird, being a Bruce Campbell joint. But then I realized, oh wait, he was doing Quick and the Dead around this time, another Western. That's,
I was going to say, I thought he was doing that around now or just after Brisco.
Yeah, I think it came out in 95. So yeah, probably would have been right after this.
Or during the last shooting of the second half.
Yeah.
What year did this come out?
Movie.
What year did this come out?
93, 94.
Yeah.
How I remember that is beyond me, because I didn't actually look that up.
Good show. Keeps your memories.
There's there really weren't any other types of shows exactly like this at all at the time.
Oh, this was unique.
And
Yeah.
I don't think that there ever was ever after that.
No.
I mean, this
No.
TV show is basically set up as a radio serial.
Yeah.
You
can
know,
see that.
each individual segment was a different serial because it always ends on a cliffhanger and then comes back and says chapter 2, chapter 3, whatever.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just like an old Superman serial where you come back the next week and they magically get out of whatever fucking problem they had.
Well, and they included that in the show with the dime store novels of Briscoe's adventures.
That was fun as a running gag.
Yeah, and you think about all the westerns that have come out since then that have like ripped that off. You know, like Unforgiven came out first, but
it was just before that. Yeah.
Shit, what show was I just thinking of?
Edward?
Shanghai Noon.
Oh,
well,
that was later.
Or no, Shanghai Nights, where he's writing all these horrible like stories about himself in dime novels.
Oh, yeah.
Under a different pseudonym.
Right. Then you get his real name and you're like, really?
Roy.
John Wayne? No, anyway. It's a horrible name for a cowboy.
It's a horrible name for a person. But
Joke's on him. He died of cancer.
And his name was Marion Morrison.
Butt cancer to boot. But anyway,
which he got here in our home state of Utah.
Hey.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Good
Cheers to the conqueror.
You know, he was actually afraid of horses. Like anytime
Really?
you'd see him in a movie where he's like sitting on the horse, like in the old cavalry type shit, and he's doing his whole famous, he's sitting on a fake horse because he was afraid of them. He got bucked early on in his career and it scared the shit out of him. And he never got up on another one ever again.
As somebody who's been bucked off a horse, it is scary as shit. I don't blame him.
No,
Fair
thank
enough.
you.
But
Not
the
after
trick
Christopher
is you
Reeve.
can't let the horse get away with it. You have to get right back on him and
That's
make him
right.
do what you were trying to make him do.
We're turning to glue.
Not
Just
all of them
leave the
can be
horse
Comet.
alone.
Oh, Comet.
Oh, Comet.
Yeah, let's talk
Comet gets like third billing or something.
Comet's amazing.
Comet's
Yeah.
the shit.
Also, I think low-key Comet wants Brisco to get killed. Because like he doesn't actually like do a whole heck of a lot to save him in a lot of the scenarios.
He's like, you moron, you got yourself into this.
He's kind of like
Minimum
Vampire Hunter D's hand. Like he's there, he helps because he has to, but he's gonna fuck with Brisco the entire time.
You're saying he's the whistler of the show?
Pretty much.
I'm sorry, Blade. I can only help from the sidelines.
I got no
off the gray.
thumbs.
Danger is near. I have to go.
That's right. Chris Christopherson is the voice of Comet.
Peckerhead.
Comet. I love Comet. Very, hard to relate to like an animal in any sort of show of any sort. I mean, you can't have like a
Somebody's never seen Jurassic Park.
I've seen Jurassic Park.
You didn't relate to the T-Rex? Or is it because she's a strong female?
Oh.
I was gonna say I related to the killing of other people, but that's about it.
Careful, Jeff. You're going to miss your bus.
Is that what ran over me? Damn. No, I mean, it can happen with movies. It just depends on what you relate best to. But like, as far as like a lovable creature that, is like a faithful companion, well, quote unquote, faithful companion. I grew attached to Comet, as part of the show. Like without Comet, it's like, yeah, you're not really missing any story elements, but you have a companion along for the ride. That's not always Bowler because he's not in every episode. You don't have Socrates in every episode. What's the one consistent through almost every episode outside of Brisco? And that's Comet. And
he's great for dumping exposition when there's nobody else around on the high plains.
Exactly.
yeah. So how did you figure out this track? Okay.
Oh,
Okay. You're
Yeah,
pawing the
so-
ground. Okay. Oh, so it was 2 bears and you can track as well as Boulder. Okay.
All
Or
right.
Bowler.
Horses do that.
Is Comet the horse's real name? I take it from him being in
Yeah.
the credits.
Yes.
Yeah. And apparently it's the only thing he starred in. he was one and done.
which is a shame because he's very talented.
Yeah.
And I was also just realizing, wait, Didn't Maverick talk to his horse too? In a couple? Yeah. Okay. I see you, Richard Donner. I see you.
But Maverick's horse didn't talk back to Brett, so
well,
or Bert, excuse me, whatever.
High
level conversations were not.
But his dad always calls him Bert. just to fuck with them. All right, Bert. But anyway, just lost my thought because I was thinking of James Gardner.
It's very common.
We've all been there.
Era.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. As far as them ripping off this show, a bunch of shows and movies rip this off. Fuck.
Yeah.
If you look at each fucking episode, there are like plot synopsises to each level of Red Dead Redemption, like 1 through 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everything from the snake oil merchants, the fucking races, all sorts of shit.
And look, I'm sure if we go back and watch like, Rawhide and Ponderosa, or all those shows from 50s and 60s, there's a lot of similar plots, but
yeah,
it is what it is. I'm just saying it came out like the following year, and it was like, oh yeah, we got this this show that was actually pretty good. Oh, it got canceled, so no one's using those sets, huh? All right.
Speaking of the sets, did they use some of the sets from Blazing Saddles?
Well, it was the NBC lot it was on. Or
Yeah,
Universal.
I think it was the same lot. So yeah, it was probably.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been 15 years or so after Blazing Saddles.
I think.
Yeah, because there's a bar that they constantly walk past, and it's the same bar in several different towns. It's a white building with red trim, and it's a replica of a building where I grew up in San Juan Bautista. And so it's like every time I see that, I'm like, oh, did they film back home? Oh, no. It's just like I always thought it was like the Warner backlot or something like that. And it looks very similar. Like I tried to watch Blazing Saddles immediately after, but didn't get a chance into that. And they paint those fucking things every other film. The sets, I mean.
Yeah. All the towns kind of look the same because I think it is like the same lot, just shot from different angles or whatever. Because it's like, well, we're here in Gillette, Wyoming, or something like that. Like, are you really? Or this looks a lot like your old hometown, Brisco. I'm just going to throw that out there.
No. See, this one's grayer. That one's slightly browner. That one's a slightly darker black.
We used a different filter on this one. Yeah,
that's right.
And this desk is in a different location from the prison cell. So this is a different sheriff's station from the other 9 you've seen for the last 9 episodes in a row.
Yeah.
We just watched the one where like his buddy was on trial or whatever, but they had the trial in the bar, and I'm like, oh, so they didn't have a courtroom set. Nice. Okay, well, I'll buy it.
That was an interesting way to tackle that. Was like, oh no, the courthouse is kind of in construction zone, and we're going to do this here, and when we recess, we're all going to drink.
Yeah.
Now that's what I call a court case.
Oh, hey, was it one of the witnesses had a shot before coming up to the stand.
That's right.
That was a fun episode because you actually saw Brisco do what he went to college for even just a brief moment. It's not like this throwaway idea of, oh, he went to Harvard for being an attorney, and it's just talked about, oh, he went to Harvard. They actually did something with it other than it just being a throwaway tidbit.
Yeah.
He's not just a bounty hunter avenging his father, and it's like, oh, that's right, he was a lawyer for I don't know, 2 semesters.
This isn't just a knockoff of Due South.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he couldn't even defend himself at the treasonous last 2 episodes where he's like, I'm being defended by somebody who's never even defended a case. Oh, we're screwed.
A military public defender.
Yeah.
Who also has never handled a criminal case.
That's pretty accurate.
Socrates being
that's not true.
inept.
Socrates helped Brisco handle that one. So Socrates has helped with 1 criminal case.
And he won, so he's got 100% record on his ass.
That's right.
Better than She-Hulk.
Better win rate. But does Socrates twerk?
Well, ask his crazy ex-girlfriend.
Hey.
Or his sister, April O'Neil.
Right.
God.
Oh, speaking of not strong female characters,
I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
that was a really disappointing episode.
And I love Miss Hogue so much. She's awesome.
You're right.
Yeah.
Like she's done so much neat shit for the like the 30th anniversary of Ninja Turtles lately. And so it's like I got super excited when I saw her.
Yeah.
And then the writing wasn't as good as I would have expected for it to be.
I don't think it gelled quite thoroughly at that time. They didn't really have a grip on where they were going and what they were doing. They had probably the outline, but they hadn't smoothed out the kinks by that point. Because that's what, like not even 8 episodes
like
in, and they were doing that.
4 episodes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although they aired episodes out of order on the DVD, I noticed.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, Socrates' Sister is supposed to be the 5th episode. It actually aired second for me when I was watching. I'm like, none of this makes sense. And then Pete shows up in episode 5. I'm like, isn't he supposed to be like dead?
Yeah, he's been dead for a few, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Surprise.
Tales from my perforation. I've been perforated is one of the funniest goddamn.
Oh my god, that was freaking fantastic. That's during the last episodes.
I believe I've been perforated.
Oh no, Will's turned into a cat.
The best version of Will. He's probably off doing something. That's all right.
Yeah. Sorry.
Now, okay, I'm going to ask one last question, storyline wise, for this. Now, what did you think of the correlationship with Dixie and Brisco? Do you think that was a worthy end for them? I mean, they kind of played cat and mouse the whole show and never really was resolved. And now, for going into a second season, Carlton Cuse a couple of years ago did say, like, if we had gotten a second season, Brisco would have been a sheriff in a small town and married to Dixie.
Ooh,
now,
Dixie County?
Yep. It was going to be Dixie County. They were going to have a couple of kids and dealing with the ramifications of being a sheriff in a small town. But to the core question, do you think that was a good direction? And what did you think of the overall story between the two?
Brisco was doing fine as a bachelor. I'd have kept it that way.
That seemed to be his
only suckers get married.
Hey, you're the one who asked.
That's right.
If my wife was out, she'd do the same thing. He's like, well, you're the idiot who asked me. And I would have been like, well, you're the one who said yes. So
you see, the thing is with him,
I believe my answer was, "Are you shitting me?"
That's true. I think the thing is, like I said, second season, if he's just a small town sheriff or whatever, then it really limits like what can happen. Because like, oh, we got another band of banditos coming through and causing ruckus and blah blah blah, and the next week it's I don't know. It seemed like where he was like the bounty hunter, just going wherever the money's at. Like you could, I don't know, throw in just something different. Like, oh yeah, there's a tank rolling through town. We gotta take it out before it takes out the next town.
But that was part of the Bly gang.
Well, yeah, but you kind of need like another Bly gang or like another big overlapping thing. Whereas like with small towns, just like, oh shoot, I don't know, old lady Mabel's cattle is out again and causing a ruckus, and we gotta save a kid from, I don't know, trapped himself on top of the water tower. I don't know. It just doesn't.
What's that, Lord Bowler? Timmy's done a well.
That gets into like territory of like TV shows like Tremors, Eureka, Defiance. You got all these shows centered around literally a little town and all the craziness that happens in it. And I don't think this show was meant to go in that direction. It's probably good that this ended when it did, because it probably would have been such a different show in the second season. I think it might have lost more viewers and not really gone well.
Would have become the forerunner for Next Door.
Is that maybe why they didn't get a second season? Because the studio didn't like where they wanted to go with it?
No, it was ratings.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
No, it was legit.
It wasn't watched at all.
Well, it started off great, but then it just nosedived after like 3 or 4 episodes. But it had enough ratings going that they, allowed them to like finish the season. But when they got to the last half of this season, they were just like, wow, we're just going to ride this out then.
Did they do the Fox thing where they changed it to like Saturday mid-afternoons and then back to like Wednesday evenings and stuff like that? Because I know they've done that to dozens
just about
and
every
dozens
show.
Of series.
No, they didn't do that. Not to me anyway. From when I was watching it, it stayed the same. It was still Fridays because like it was paired up with the X-Files. I at least as far as my memory goes, it was paired up the same.
Nice. Well, yeah. I just know that happened to a lot of shows. So it was like maybe that was why people dropped off, or maybe if it was paired with X-Files, was it like during the season where Mulder wasn't around and it was
oh god, right.
Krychek or whatever? I don't know.
God, they did that to Space Above and Beyond, and it's like, okay, you were on Friday, now you moved it to Sunday. What the hell are you doing? And nobody was watching on Sunday, so of course it got canceled.
Yeah. Well, the famous one, Firefly, kind of the same thing, where it was
God.
like after like 4 episodes, it was like, well, when is it? Doesn't matter. It's canceled.
Yeah, we're 3 episodes in and we didn't even show you the pilot, so screw y'all, it's gone.
Good luck.
Yeah. Was this your first experience with Fox killing a beloved series, Jeff?
Yeah, for me. This is when the heartbreak of shows get canceled after 1 season. Okay. I mean, I probably, I grew up in Battlestar Galactica era, but I saw it in syndication. I didn't see it when it aired because I'd only just been born. But I only knew of that show just being 1 season. Nowadays, we're kind of accustomed to shows just being like, if it's 1 season, maybe it's a limited series. Or maybe that's the only story they had to tell. Because they'll give shows that window of, we'll give you 10 to 13 episodes. No show these days gets a full order for 24 episodes unless you're like ER and George Clooney wants back.
Yeah. The only I'm trying to think of like shows before this where it was like I was disappointed after 1 season, and aside from Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future, the only other thing I can think of is like The Critic, which is right around the same time. But even then, I think that was technically 2 seasons, even though it's like 20 episodes.
First episode ABC, or first season ABC, then I went to Fox for the second season.
Yeah.
I think I remember other shows around this time, but I don't think there's like VR5.
Oh yeah.
There was another show that was on Fox too. There was a TV show called Prophet that was on that only ran like 5 episodes and that was canceled.
Forever Night.
Well, that ran 3 seasons.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, the first season CBS, then it got into syndication and somebody helped fund the rest. Then it ended up on USA Channel for like 15 years in syndication.
Yeah. Say, wasn't that like a Canadian show or something?
Yeah, that was shot in Toronto.
Yeah.
That's a good show.
I mean, I want to say my first experience of Fox canceling a beloved show was War of the Worlds, but
you do not need to keep bringing that up. Stop it.
Yeah.
Hindsight, this is probably the first example.
Wait, was Freddy's Nightmares before this? No.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think
or the
so.
Freddy the
That was
13th,
what,
the
80s?
series. Yeah, that was like 88, 89, something like that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
loved those.
Yeah.
Well, those two. No,
Yeah.
I love Friday the 13th. Freddy's Nightmares was good for those segments.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they're no Tales from the Crypt, but they're all right.
Ooh, I love
Didn't
that
they
show.
try to reboot Twilight Zone around the late 90s too?
No, it was
And they did the
Tales
Outer
from the
Limits.
Dark Side.
Oh,
yeah,
it was Outer
Tales from the Dark
Limits.
Side too.
Okay.
Yeah.
They Twilight Zone's revival or first revival was in the early 80s, wasn't it?
Oh,
Where they had the color episodes.
yeah.
Right
I
after the
think.
movie.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it was around the movie time, yeah.
That's
Oh.
right. And if anything, yeah, because the movie was all reenactments of original episodes, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
That's right. That's right.
Now, guys, do we have any other thoughts about Brisco?
If we were to reboot it, who would you cast in it?
Brisco.
Bruce.
Or Bruce Campbell.
Still Bruce Campbell, or is Bruce Campbell Brisco County Senior now?
That's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Nailed it.
And he could rock his normal do, which is the silver hair and the silver
Yeah.
beard. I think it would. I mean, he's even on record saying this is the one of the few shows and projects he'd ever come back to do a new project on.
Well, because besides this or Ash, like what else has he starred in? Bubba Hotep? Like everything else, he's kind of like Burn Notice or whatever. He's kind of second fiddle, and yeah, I
I mean,
mean,
jack of all trades, but like I don't think he really wants to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Or Xena or Hercules, but nobody wants to see Sorbo anymore. But I'll take more of Lucy Law.
Oh, yeah.
he's gonna come back for the Congo prequel. Like, come on.
So he actually has a starring role.
But Joe Don Baker looks older than before. Better too.
Now, Kevin, who would you cast?
I don't even know. Like, is there anybody currently that like just has that? Ryan Reynolds would be the only person that I could think of that has that personality where
Yeah.
He could play very straight, but then still be funny at the same time.
See, I was thinking, I watched Justified, and like Timothy Olyphant could do that pretty well too.
Okay.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Like that's just like a grittier modern day Brisco County in a lot of ways, but yeah, I don't know.
Wasn't he in was it Deadwood or Hell or
Oh yeah, he was in
Wheels?
Deadwood. Yeah, what or
It was one of those two.
I've only seen a few episodes of Deadwood, but
Yeah,
I
me
think
too.
I think he was in that though. At
Yeah.
least for like part of it. And then of course, obviously, Lord Bowler has to be played by Terry Crews.
Oh, I like that. No,
Yeah.
actually, that's a really good call.
That would be doper than hell.
No, that's a duo right there.
And the reason I say that is because I'm thinking Last Dragon. Who else could play Sho'nuff nowadays? And it's like, oh yeah, Terry Crews. He's got it.
Yeah, if they rebooted that too, that'd be all right too.
Terry Crews could play anything, and I'd be just as happy with
Anything
Hell,
he
he could-
damn well wants to play. Yeah,
He could be Brisco County. I'm down.
that'd be cool. No, if they wanted to reboot this, I would be total game for, as long as you had maintained like the spirit. I'm of the opinion you can reboot like whatever, because you can't take away the originals. It just brings more eyeballs to the original, if anything, because if it's long enough and you haven't rebooted it like 9 times, Star Trek, then you can it brings more attention back to the original Brisco, and then hey, all of a sudden you got TV and syndication rights again. Oh, here's another check in the mail for everybody on Brisco.
Guys, I got it. It's The Adventures of Brisco County the Third.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm trying to remember like what year this takes place, but I'm thinking like 30 years later or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, that World War One, or like maybe this certain German group coming to power in the 20s and 30s.
1894 is
then
what this was set in.
1894. So okay, so yeah, 30 years later. We got 1924.
Just
All right,
after
all right.
World War One.
At least you got the Roaring Twenties you can play around with. There's
Oh yeah,
things going on around
Stock
there.
market crash.
Yeah.
Absinthe.
Yeah.
Great depression.
Babe, I got it. We got a Terry Crews as Brisco. And then for Lord Bowler, we get Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, there we go.
Switch
Switch
it
it
up.
up.
be in
Always
every
angry the
episode.
entire time.
Or is he Socrates?
No.
No,
I think he should be Lord Bowler. I want to see him come in and be angry and sassy.
Socrates should be Patton Oswalt.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Or oh shit,
Stanley Tucci.
Paul F. Tompkins.
Oh, Paul Tompkins.
Hey, Will, you got any ideas about casting if they did a reboot?
Well, I was wondering about the guy from Witcher and Superman, because he seems
Oh,
like
Henry
he
Cavill.
could. Yeah, he seems like he could do a kind of.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, with his
I'm
performance
sorry,
in
you
The
mean the guy
Witcher.
from Hellraiser 6?
Yeah.
Oh,
Hellraiser Hellworld's own Henry Cavill.
Wait, really? Ew.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Baby Henry Cavill gets, spoiler alert, killed by Lance Hendrickson.
Oh, well then. Is that why I didn't watch anything after 5? God damn.
I
You
never
just
made it
missed out.
past 4. Oh,
Is that the Craig Sheffer one?
That's the space
No,
one.
that's like 9. That's like 7, 8, or 9.
Oh,
9's where they go to TJ, I think. I think that's where they had the new pinhead.
Yeah. Revelations or whatever. Are you guys excited for this weekend with the new Hellraiser coming out?
oh yeah.
They're finally going to go to space.
I'm excited to see people
They
lose
didn't
their
Event Horizon,
shit.
didn't they? No.
What's that, Kevin?
I said I'm excited to see people lose their shit this weekend. Is what I'm ready for.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm hearing like it's really good actually, so I'm excited to check it out.
like I've met Clive Barker twice, and I'm not nearly as bad as these fucking online purists. They're like, it's gonna suck. It's like,
Yeah.
What I've learned about every fandom, I've learned from both Jurassic Park and Star Wars. People
Yeah.
who claim to be true fans like 1.5 of the movies.
yes, or like in the
Or
case
bits and
of
pieces.
Clive Barker fans have never read the books.
Yeah.
Wow.
He made movies. Why do I need to read books?
Right? Hashtag Nightbreed.
That's right.
Yeah.
We got a request for that the other day. Actually,
Yes, we did.
It's a fabulous movie.
No, it's fantastic. Yeah. And it's on
Depending on which
Tubi, I
version
think.
you're talking about.
All of them. You
I
can't
think
ruin
we've
that
only
movie.
seen the
Well, the
director's cut.
theatrical cut's
Apparently-
very lacking, but the director's cut
Yeah.
is phenomenal.
Yeah, I think we've only seen the director's cut as why it suffers from the Highlander 2 problem where
oh god, yeah.
they just like I remember that was one of the first movies I remember watching as a kid and being like, wait, I thought this was Highlander. Did we get the wrong VHS? Yeah. What's this about aliens and shit?
So Highlander 2 is one of the movies that convinced me there were like rip-offs of movies, and again, this
starring the same people.
Yes, but this is back to like on our hacked cable on pay-per-view. Whenever I saw Ghostbusters, the description just said 3 scientists catch ghosts, and I was like, oh, that must be a rip-off of the real Ghostbusters because the real Ghostbusters has 4.
Or it could be the movie on Netflix called Spectral.
Oh, the James Bond movie.
Blonde Mexican tries to kill an old lady.
No, I heard the 3 scientists busting ghosts, and I just reminded me of the movie on Netflix from a few years ago called Spectral. It's actually pretty interesting, just very long.
Yeah,
they need to cut out like 15 minutes of that movie.
Oh, if that's all.
Is there a lot of are there driving scenes, parking scenes, what stairways?
Yeah.
Look, how are we going to know how they got there if we don't see the parking scenes?
It's a birdemic amount of parking.
Right?
You can't just have parking. You have to have them getting in and out of the cars.
Mm-hmm.
And going up flights of stairs.
Just like the Tingler, yeah. You don't know if they're going to make it all the way through the door or up the stairs to the door unless you actually see.
Well, we're stupid. You see, they're pandering to us. But because we're stupid, we don't really acknowledge it.
Well, why worry? We're all wearing unlicensed nuclear particle accelerators on our back.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, when you put it like that.
Kevin, do we have some social media?
Dude, we've got a bunch of social media.
Well, let's get to it.
Like, people love Brisco County Jr. Oh, let's see here. First, we'll get onto Facebook because we actually had Twitter account or Twitter comments this time. Pretty excited. Jessica Johnson said, "None of my memories or feelings on this show are appropriate for mixed company."
And it goes hubba hubba.
I wrote hubba hubba.
Oh, that was you. Okay.
That was going to be me messing with Jessica, but yeah, we'll do that.
Somebody get that lady a mop.
And a cold shower.
We have Charlie Esser who says, Julius Carey's Lord Bowler and John Aston's Professor Wickwire just made this show for me. Bruce is great, but his supporting cast really highlights the world that they inhabit.
I'd agree with that.
Yes.
Yeah. They had great chemistry, like we said. Just really phenomenal chemistry.
They did. I mean, just even beyond the two of them, most everybody that was returning character worked well together, like especially John Aston. I mean, he can't not work well because he's a fucking genius. But
oh yeah,
this whole series, the cast was like lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Worked really well. Just pieces meshing.
Yeah.
Like a gearbox.
Yes, very much so.
In the Zeppelin, probably? Yeah, I'm thinking the Zeppelin with the gearbox.
Led Zeppelins.
It's your Stairway to Heaven.
By Hindenburg. By von Hindenburg. He just wants it named after him. Just one.
With armaments.
Yep, with armaments.
Zeppelin, not Hindenburg.
Should have gotten us all helium so we could then do that effect right now.
Oh, the humanity.
Spoiler alert, guys. In real life, the world is actually running out of helium. We'll be out of helium in another 30 years unless we find another cave full of it. Oh no!
Yeah.
We've been wasting it on party balloons.
Yeah.
Once again, kids destroying the future.
Yes.
Well, they went back to the future.
Oh, another pun. All right, let's see. Next, we've got John Eckert, who says, another greatly underappreciated series. It's in our queue for a rewatch.
Yep, get on that.
Yeah, you guys are going to have a great time. I don't know how long it's been since you guys have seen it, but I promise you're going to have a great time. If you don't, blame Jeff.
Yep. I say we've been binging it for the last couple of days, and it's like, all right, I guess we got another week or so to get through this. Sorry, Supernatural.
Sam and Dean can wait. They got another 14 seasons to help you through.
My God, can they wait? No. See, we've been binging it for a fucking year now.
Oh,
and
wow.
we're
my
like
God, has it been
halfway
a
through
whole
season 13. And
you're
I was questioning after season 3, like, do we really want to do this, babe?
You mean about when we both tapped out the first time?
Yeah.
I always had the same problem with that show, but I made it through season 5 because Eric Kripke intended to end it there. It's everything after that was not really planned out exactly because he wanted to go off and do something else. So we had that season 5 ending is the original ending for the show.
That makes sense.
That checks
But
out.
then again, we did just see one of the funnier episodes.
Yeah,
just
we
the
saw
other
one-
day.
yeah,
We saw
one of
the Scooby-Doo one, the crossover they did.
Scooby-Doo is a great one.
That was the middle of season 13, though, and it was like, when's the last good one? Season 8, maybe?
Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah, it's so season 6 was really rough. I was ready to give it up, but then somebody told me at least watch through season 7, and season 7 gave me enough hope to keep going through here.
Right.
It's a lot of hope.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of BMs, boy moments.
At first, I was like, "Yay, that sounds cool." Never mind. All right, let's see. Next, we've got Elliot Wong. Elliot says, "I just didn't like how the time travel stuff didn't quite line up. But hey, it's TV. And it was pretty darn entertaining TV at that. But I like Firefly that came after. Like Firefly that came after, it wasn't long for this world. But at least Firefly had a movie. It's been a while since I watched this show, but John Astin remains a favorite ever since he was Gomez Addams. And he's still alive, apparently."
Oh, wow.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yeah, like we said, like there's nothing that John Astin can do that is a bad performance. I don't know that if we're actually going to cover it this month, but just to talk about it, Mr. Boogedy, that's on fucking Disney Plus.
Oh, yeah.
He's in that, and it's a stupid ass movie, but he's fantastic.
Yep.
It was always the Frighteners.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the Frighteners.
That's a dope flick. Dope flick.
Yeah. Peter
One of my
Jackson, baby.
favorites.
Yeah, I want to do that one.
By the
So do
way,
you think-
side note, Firefly is a complete and utter ripoff of the anime Outlaw Star. They just replaced the kid with a prostitute, and I'm still mad about it.
You're not the only one who said that when that came out. I said that too. 'Cause
Take that, Joss Whedon.
You watch the 2 pilots, it's like, holy shit, something got ripped off here.
Yep.
Oh, I have mentioned that to quite a few nerds, and I think ruined their lives.
Yeah,
At least
you
made
pointed
their
out that's like-
tattoos seem more insignificant.
Yeah,
See,
and
my
you tell them
wife
when
is a
the
succubus
anime
of
came
joy.
out, and it actually came out way before Firefly by like 3 or 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have kids, so I'll take the prostitute. Like, yeah.
I'd say that's an improvement.
Yeah.
A lot more interesting, a lot more they can do, a lot more storyline possibilities.
What more things can they do?
Yeah, you specifically can't do
A
with children.
prostitute? Well, a prostitute has a lot of talents outside of just being a person.
Well, you know, singing and
Prostitutes for
dancing
people,
like
too.
Dixie, but no.
Well, we're R-rated,
Oh,
but
yeah.
we're not NC-17 there, Will.
Dixie is just a very well written,
Gosh.
like Western Catwoman. That's who Dixie is.
Exactly. Yeah, she's very Catwoman-esque. And I love that she only has one song.
Yeah.
Like, it makes me happy every time.
Yeah.
Did they write it, or is it in the public domain? Because
Not sure.
What was that band that you took your friend to go see where the concert was only 45 minutes long and they only had one
Oh,
song?
Gautier. Yeah.
She's the Gautier over time.
Yeah. That guy. Yeah.
Wow.
Apparently, that's the only song he knows how to play.
And then the rest was basically like keeping the bass line and then just being a DJ. And then it was like, all right, have a good night, everybody. Like, you've been up there for 42 minutes. But fuck you.
Are there any requests? Play that same song.
You got it.
If that's what the people want.
Just got to hit that air horn.
I love my fans. Love the fans. What can I say?
Anything for you guys.
So coming back to that thought about a movie, do you think maybe a movie would be a better way to do this? A sequel?
I don't think they
Yeah.
greenlight that kind of budget.
Yeah.
The problem is if you make it a movie, you can't say Adventures of Brisco County Jr. because that's what made the filler episodes feel not so fillery.
They'll just
It's
go
just-
the Rambo route and call it Brisco County Jr.
Yeah.
No,
There
it's
you
the adventure of Brisco County the Third.
Another adventure of Bristol County
It's
Jr.
the one of the grandson, you know.
Yeah.
They're still going the Brisco County Juniors or third juniors, whichever they are.
Oh shit! They just do it like they did the those CMT Smokey and the Bandit sequels. It's
Oh
called
my
like
God.
Brisco, and Brisco Goes Country, and Run Brisco Run, or something like that. Master Brisco Kill or something.
I'm gonna eat that apple. No red apples.
No red apples.
All right. Next, we've got Rhonda Fisher, who said, I love Brisco County Jr. I get so excited every Olympics when they play the theme song.
Yeah.
Damn Skippy.
Oh, yeah.
Damn Skippy. That was back when Mark Henry was still lifting, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, Judas Machina said, I love this show. Brooke Cashin says, I used to love watching this show.
Well, get to rewatching then. What are you waiting for, Brooke?
It's on Tubi. No excuses.
I know she used to like watching it because she watched it with me.
Come on, Brooke.
And our friend Jen Peter says, I remember how excited I was when the series came out on DVD. I had met Bruce and the actor who played Bowler at SDCC the previous weekend and was really riding that high. So, yeah, let's talk about that for a second. When this box set came out, it was fucking expensive for its time.
I still have the original set.
Yeah.
Same here. I bought it, I think, when it was still like 70, 80 bucks, whatever it was.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
That was
yeah.
a lot back then too.
Yes, very much so, because I want to say
Inflation, that's like $300 today.
Oh, God, yeah.
For a Blu-ray 4K series edition, yeah, maybe.
Well, the Game of Thrones, and put in perspective, the complete series set for that just got as low as like 100, but the normal price is like 175. And I looked up the price for what I paid for this set because I have kept records for years. I paid $69.99.
Yeah, now I think
Nice.
they had it like condensed in a much smaller package for like 20, and you're like, fuck.
Actually, it's a little more priced around $40 unless you want it used. Now, stay tuned to the end of our episode. We are doing a giveaway for the DVD box set
Oh shit!
that you can't really, unless you want to spend $40. We're going to be giving one away at the end.
Hell yeah. Who doesn't want free Bruce Campbell?
Hell yeah.
Okay. Next, we've got Doug Martin, who said it was a great show. It was very clever. It was, just like we said, this show did things that other TV shows never did and that radio shows did forever and perfected very well. Well, I guess they did this at the movies. Would serials be considered TV episodes or movies? Does it depend upon the show?
Well, older serials were broken up into sections, so they wouldn't, although they were featured at theaters. That's a good question.
See, Eric Webster says, I've got to check this out one day. Yes, you should check it out today. It is so worth your time. It's very much worth your time. Like I was, like Jeff said, I was a big X-Files fan throughout the 90s. Like that was definitely my jam. But looking back in hindsight, this show I think remains better than X-Files does as far as holding up.
I think so.
It's still fun. There's nothing you roll your eyes at.
Too bad. Dixie doesn't have an alien baby.
Yeah, exactly. They don't name it. Well, I guess they would have named it after Briscoe's dad, wouldn't they? Anyway.
Brisco? Oh shit, that's the Adventures of Brisco County the Third. He's a space cowboy and it's a Firefly reboot.
I want to be a space cowboy.
Exactly.
Yeah, see, the orb came back in time again, and then it took him into the future.
Can I just say one more thing about this as far as lazy writing on the comics part? Bly is apparently Reverse Flash. Like he's come back to fuck with Briscoe and get this orb so he could rule the future. Like that's just Eobard Thawne. That's all that is.
Yeah.
But Billy Drago is one of the scariest motherfuckers that's ever been on TV or the silver screen. So
great villain.
Oh shit, who do we get to play him in the reboot?
Malcolm
Or
McDowell.
I guess him just coming back again through time or something. I don't know.
Maybe, or somebody that's already been scary on TV that's ordinarily not, say like fucking Zachary Quinto. Like people love him as Spock, but remember for a few months he was like the scariest dude on TV for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Defoe.
Oh, hey.
that would be cool.
Now you're talking.
And then Steve Martin. Steve says, "Have
The Steve Martin?
Yes,
Of course.
I mean, I'm the Kevin Smith.
That's what I've heard.
He's the Steve Martin. So, like, yes.
Before weight loss. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm gaining mine. Listen, Steve says, I have the series on DVD. So sad back in the day watching it that it didn't at least get a conclusion.
Yeah.
That's true. Ordinarily, that's true, especially when they get the axe like in the middle and they don't know that they're going to be getting it. But this show, I think they could have just capped it off at the 20 episodes. Like it didn't need to have further adventures per se in an epilogue. Like once he got Bly and did his destiny, like to me, that was just the end of that particular story. Like either go on to next season or just have that be your long miniseries.
It would have been horrible if they would have ended with part 1 of the 2-part season finale. Like if that 27th episode was really their idea for the pilot for the second season and they never shot it and it just ended with them getting shot, then you might have had a effect of motherfucker, you cancel my show from just about everybody, other than it actually like ended on a good.
Guys, I get it. Season 2, he goes back to San Francisco, becomes a lawyer, and it's Brisco County Junior Special Victims Unit. Lasts for 30 seasons. This will go into this day.
There you go.
Mariska Hargitay shows up. Yeah, it's great.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm not opposed to that.
They can even do, him having to fucking take care of a lawless San Francisco in 1904.
Oh shit! Big Trouble in Little China.
Yes. James Hong.
James
Hong is in this shit.
Yep.
That's right.
Great guest cast in this.
Welcome back, Mr. Conti.
And David Warner too. David Warner was supposed to be Dumbledore's character from Unforgiven.
Yeah, watch out.
And he was fucking cool as that shit. Like I love David Warner. He could do no wrong for me.
Plus the Delta Knights, classic MST3K.
Yes. MST3K. Batman, of course, he's Ra's al Ghul. He's the TGRI guy on Ninja Turtles. I love him. Of course, I say
Ice Cream Man, I think. No.
Was he an Ice Cream Man? No, that was
a Warner?
That was Clint Howard, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, but I think David Warner was in it too.
Yeah, he was
Professor or something.
He was
like Jan Michael Vincent was in it too for some reason.
I gotta go fucking watch that. I bought the riff tracks and I have yet to fucking watch it. I know, and I didn't get to see it when it came out as a kid, and it was one of those things where I wanted to at the time. That was before I knew horror films were going to get stupid for a while. All right, let's see here. Quinn Keating says this was such a fun series. It is, and it's Quinn. Actually, I borrowed your set from you, so thank you for letting me watch it. I have the DVDs. I just didn't want to dig them out. And let's see. AC Jaggard said on Twitter, criminally underappreciated show. Yes. Yes. This show is what TV kind of used to be, an exciting thing that made you want to come back and watch it. It wasn't about ratings or trying to get ratings by killing off one of your main characters every season. Like you just
saying the S word.
Yeah. You just wanted to see the next crazy stunt or gag that they were going to do. Like you wanted to see who the next bad guy was going to be. It's like watching Batman in '66. There was always going to be some guest star as a bad guy that's one of Bly's 12.
Surprise! Oh, but he's Egghead? What the hell is that?
It was excellent, or excellent is what it was. God,
that's right.
God damn.
Well, like we were talking about, it has that drugstore novel, radio serial kind of feel to it.
Yeah, it really does. It's like watching an old piece of like Superman or Batman, the old Captain America serials, anything like that. It's the same thing, just with a picture.
Entertaining. That's the key.
Yes.
And engaging. It has to engage to be a true serial dime thing, because it's not the writing you're coming back for. It's the adventure of listening.
Yes. And in this case, you get Bruce Campbell doing stunts with it. So I mean, it's gold. It was pure gold.
I have got to bring up. So this was my first time ever seeing this. My fiance Liz saw it previously, and this was her first time seeing Bruce ever. And watching it the past few days, we got to say that's a pretty Bruce performance of Bruce.
He Bruced it.
Yeah, peak Bruce levels.
Yeah, it is called just being charming.
Yeah, charismatic as hell.
Yes, he is. Like, probably the most charismatic person that's alive in our lifetime, anyway.
Yeah, he's got that. Yeah, je ne sais quoi, to butcher the language.
He's got that James Garner effect.
Yeah, he's just, well, for one thing, he's the grooviest, and he really is like just a legitimately nice guy, and he's smart as hell. So he's one of those people that like can definitely do no wrong in my eyes.
He strikes me as very intelligent.
It's if you follow him on Twitter, he comes up with a lot of neat like philosophical things. He'll get you thinking by leading by example, going out on hikes or lollygagging, as he calls it, and just take a picture of your feet, staring out at whatever you're staring out at out in nature. Love shit like that.
Like you said, great guy.
Yeah. All right. Next, we've got Blue 22, who says, there are not enough hearts to demonstrate my love of Brisco, but I'll try. And she's got like 50 hearts underneath that.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
A lot. Probably still wasn't enough. But she says the first series we ever bought on DVD, and that was back when it was expensive.
Yep.
Yes. Like, again, like we said, that was a commitment. Like, you had to know that you liked the show. And then Race Archer says the moment where Billy Drago contemplates his orb while explaining he's from the future, but does not do it in his Hollywood cowboy accent. Says it was just a perfect chef kiss for cinema. Yeah, like Billy Drago, people like him, David Warner, Bruce Campbell, everybody, most of the supporting cast or your guest stars are just people that like elevate whatever they're in.
Yeah.
And this was just a special thing.
You think one reason the chemistry works so well is because, like we were just talking about, Bruce is a genuinely nice person. And if he's at the core of the show, and people just like Bruce.
Well, your hero is only as good as the villain that he's opposed to. So you need somebody who can bring the evil and you can buy it. Otherwise, you just got Superman going up against some schmuck on the street. I mean, it doesn't play the same.
Yeah, some Carrot Top ripoff passing as Lex Luthor or something. Yeah.
Yeah, Eisenberg.
I know what you're talking about.
I remember watching that movie, going to a special preview of that movie, thinking like, okay, this is where they're finally going to get it figured out. And then like scene one where like young Bruce Wayne is flying off at bats. I'm like, oh fuck, this is what we're signing up for.
I believe you said very loudly in the middle of the theater, fuck you.
That's great.
Well
but
done.
he strangely
Well
didn't get shushed.
Everybody just kind of nodding their head like,
yeah. What else can you do at that scene? I mean,
they're sitting there clapping.
Excited.
They're clapping. He's got a strong point.
Valid.
And let's see. Peter Maurith says, I loved that show and recently rewatched it. It's a shame that it only got one season. It was just good fun. Like you didn't have to take it too seriously.
Nope.
And that was one of the things that made the puns so forgivable, if not even fun. Like,
oh yeah,
legitimately fun. Because
they were fun.
Yeah. And I think it really showed that the cast was having fun doing it too.
Right.
Yeah, and that comes back to the chemistry.
Yeah.
And I mean, not every show is capable of being engaging and fun when you watch 25 episodes over 3 or 4 days.
You leave my Smallville out of this, motherfucker.
I had a great time, even the ones that, and Liz wasn't around because she was on a job a few times, and just it was a great fun watching the show. And it kept my attention. I didn't wander off to do other things while I was watching it.
Oh yeah. This one, when I was rewatching it, it would constantly pull me to not do like working on the podcast or any of our YouTube stuff. I would just suddenly be, oh, I guess I'm watching this every single time. And even like the filler episodes, like there's a charm and a heart to this show that just, it's really hard to replicate. This was lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
And you compare that with, for example, we're watching Supernatural, and it's like, okay, I watched the first like 5 minutes, so I find out what's going on. Then it's like, cool, I got about 15-20 minutes. I can go do some dishes, come back, and a goddamn thing's going to change. And I come back, oh, did I miss anything? Nope.
Meanwhile, I'm checking
Generation.
my emails, and then I'll pause it if there's a good line.
Yeah.
Happened like 3 times.
It takes a lot for a show to keep my attention, especially when I intend to do other things while I'm watching it. And like Jeff said, oh, I'm watching it. I'm not doing anything else. I'm just watching it.
You know, I want to say I did the same thing, and for the most part I did, but I learned this morning that I could play Magic the Gathering while watching Plex on the tablet at the same time. And I got to a point where it's like I lost probably like 5-6 matches in a row because I was so busy watching the show or just paying attention and like missing turns. Like so many people were probably pulling their hair out like, fucking go. But yeah, I was like really into the end of this season. Well, getting towards the end of episode 19 and 20.
Yep.
Yeah, because that, to be perfectly honest, for one thing, I'd never seen it before, and finally seeing what happened to Blyer, there was a conclusion to their fight. Finally finding that out after God knows how many years. What is it? 30, almost 30 years. Like I got fucking emotional. Like some of the shit made me fucking cry at the end.
Oh, it pulled at the heartstrings a few times for me too.
Like,
especially if you got like some little daddy issues and stuff going, like the one where Arlie Ermey comes back from the dead and stuff.
Oh my god!
Yes,
this should be a completely ridiculous fucking premise, but they pulled it off.
Yeah.
That is not a man that I would have ever thought to make me emotionally cry like that.
Yeah,
like maybe like terrified cry, like sure, but I've never seen him in a role where he was like a supportive dad like this before. And this was as close as he could get to that sitcom type dad. But it was really powerful stuff because it was him saying, son, I love you. And it's like, oh. And maybe it was because it was Sergeant Ermey that like it just added some credibility to it.
Yeah,
I didn't recognize it was him. I still loved the episode. So there you go.
Yeah. And then Julius Carey at the end, basically giving up on life because he knows he's not compatible with the orb.
Yep.
That fucking destroyed me inside. I'm like, oh, please fucking tell me that they're going to fix this.
Well, they freaking laid on that moment while he's laying there dead for like moments and moments. It's not just, oh, activate the orb, boom, gone. They actually built up to that.
Yeah, like Bruce made you feel bad by like putting his face in Julius's face.
Well,
which is not a very manly thing to do, least of all 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But that's what you do when your brother is hurt. And that's what they were. And they sold that shit so well. And I was like, my wife's sitting there like, are you watching Brisco County Jr. and crying? Shut up, bitch.
Well, and then you compare a scene like that with, I remember watching the first Hunger Games movie.
oh.
And they're making Rue dying. Spoiler alert. I don't know. She dies, and there's like a 15-minute fucking thing. And I'm like, she was on screen for 2 minutes. I don't even know who this bitch is. And like, oh, but you never read the books and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm watching the fucking movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the same response. It's like, not everybody needs to read a book to go see a goddamn movie. Not all of us have that kind of time. 2 hours for a movie or 20 hours for a book.
Well, and sometimes the movie tips you off enough to just avoid the book completely.
Yep.
And just another Riff Tracks plug. They did a great episode with Hunger Games.
Yes, it's very good.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
As somebody who worked for the traveling movie exhibition, I'm curious about that one.
It's honestly not a bad movie.
No, okay. Well, we watched the movies. The first movie I think was the worst, and it was mostly just because
You don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, like Martin Campbell, I think directed it, but it was a lot of the shaky cam and shit going on, and they're like trying to establish the world, but like I said, like with Rue dying and everybody's like losing their shit, and I'm like, whatever. Like 8 other kids died before her, and nobody gave a fuck.
Yeah,
what world is this? But then the sequels, once everything's built and stuff, and I think they brought in another director, and it was like, okay, I'm getting it now. It's ripping off a bunch of other things. I get it. But yeah, anyway, we're not here to talk about Hunger Games, are we? Do they have a series of that?
Hopefully not yet.
Jinx, gotcha. Well, kind of.
Oh wait, yeah. Didn't they say they're doing like a prequel Hunger series or something?
Yes,
oh, that's right. Because I remember Young President Snow or whatever was supposed to be a thing, and I'm like, are they going to have Kiefer?
Yeah, right. I'd be down for that.
When do you think they're going to do the book written from the boys' point of view in the Hunger Games? Then?
Never.
Who gives a shit?
Nah.
I mean, it's an established precedent with Twilight.
Wait, is it a Reacher's perspective, or the Alan Richson character, or the baby Hemsworth, or
the baby kid? I guess I don't know.
Liam is like, I don't know. The first book's about him hunting and wanting to bang Jennifer Lawrence. Nobody wants that perspective.
Well, nobody wanted Edward's perspective either, but the Twilight woman did it. So.
Well,
nobody gives a shit.
As long as people keep buying.
I just want you guys to know, if you enjoy Twilight, I think less of you.
Yeah,
I'm just throwing this out there.
I hate Twilight.
The riff tracks are great.
I dislike Twilight so much I don't even want to watch the riff tracks.
I'm team nobody. They can all kill themselves.
No, it's one of the absolute best riff tracks. It really is.
Team Mustache Dad is a thing. Like,
yeah.
Not interested.
Oh, yeah. Team Mustache Dad.
Yeah.
If I want to watch somebody sigh for 2 hours, I'll go to France.
No, it's not her sign, it's Lime.
How long is it where they're like running at Mach speed through the fucking forest and he's like hopping over things? And it's like in super fast forward, you hear Bill start singing. He starts singing yakety sax, and you're like, oh my god. Anyway, the last social media we had, Chad Peterman, who said that we need to mention Julius Carey playing Lord Bowler.
Sure enough.
That he was, yes, sure enough. Yes, absolutely. That is the reason to watch anything that he's in. Like, it's culturally awesome.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right. And that is what we had for social this week.
And we're coming up on the end of our podcast, but we're not going to leave quite yet. Steve and Izzy, where can people find you on social media? And what do you have coming up for a project that we can promote for you?
Oh, well, you can find us on all the major podcatchers under Everything I Learned from Movies, or hit us up directly on Twitter, Facebook, and Patreon at EILF Movies. That's Everything I Learned from Movies. Right now in October, we're doing Gootober, so it's basically 80s horror movies with lots of goo. The Stuff, the Blob, Society,
Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah, all kind of street trash. Yeah, good stuff. And babe, don't you have something going on this month on Kickstarter?
Yeah, we're doing a Kickstarter. If you guys aren't aware, I am also an artist and illustrator, and my favorite little side project is Gary the Unicorn. He's a chubby, happy unicorn, and all of the unicorns are named Gary. And we're doing a Kickstarter to get some spooky Gary enamel pins made. We have already funded, at the time of this here recording, a glitter body pumpkin jack-o'-lantern Gary, and his little eye is a jack-o'-lantern like eye, and his whole body is glitter. And we have a mummy Gary funded with glow-in-the-dark bandages. And then we just got a ghost mummy funded, and his body also glows in the dark.
Ghost Gary.
Sorry, Ghost Gary. Just too excited. And we have another mystery one coming because somebody wants to fully fund their own Gary for $300. You can fully fund a Gary. You end up with 30 enamel pins. You tell me what you want. I will design the Gary like that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So on Kickstarter under Untidy Venus, a goddess who's bad at housekeeping. Look up Gary the Unicorn enamel pins.
And we'll also be sure to throw some links below in our descriptions when we throw these up on social media too.
Yay!
Excellent.
Guys, if you were going to design a spooky unicorn, what kind of spooky unicorn would you design?
Oh, one missing pieces of flesh here and there, kind of like mange, but with skin.
Like a zombie Gary.
Yeah.
A fat Michael Myers.
Chubby Michael Myers, Gary.
just wearing a Shatner mask.
Yeah. Or half ripped one or whatever.
Yeah, but that shape you can't get away from because you can hear him coming up from behind you going.
You mean like Curse of Michael Myers, where he is a fat Michael Myers? Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We're also proud to announce an affiliation with filmlore.no. If you love reviews, interviews, and so much more, please head over to filmlore.no and discover a whole new world. And last, but certainly not least, we're running a contest to give away a complete new DVD set of Brisco County Jr. The keyword is Comet. Remember, the keyword is Comet. Now stay tuned for our social media for details about the contest. That'll be out the same day we put out this episode. So take note, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bum, ba-da-bum, bum, bum, ba-da-bum, bum,
Bum, bum, bum, bum, bum. And that's going to be our stinger.
Yeah, I figured.
Unless I find something Kevin said again, like usual. Make sure you check us out on all of our social media platforms. We got Facebook, Twitter. We are at Suns and Shadows. We're also on Instagram at Suns and Shadows Cast. We are at sunsandshadows.com. Thank you again, everybody, and we'll see you down the road.
Tried really hard to put that repressed memory out.
Can never escape.
I'm going to lose it if I don't get it now.
Thanks again for listening to Science Fiction Fanatic by Indie Drop-In Network. If you would like to nominate a podcast for feature, just send me a tweet at Indie Drop-In. Indie Drop-In Network has many other shows that you might enjoy. You can check them out at indiedropin.com. All right, see you next time.